It was necessary. It was something that needed to happen. So whenever you say something or do something that you wish didn't happen, just think to yourself, it was meant to be. In order for me to reflect on how I'm feeling, in order for me to grow, in order for me to be the version of me that I need to be for that relationship to flourish. Hi everybody, it's me, Corey T, and in this video I want to talk to you about what to do if you think you've said or done something that you think has totally screwed up your manifestation, particularly when it comes to manifesting a specific person, but you can apply this to any situation, any manifestation, okay? So I'm going to give you some reassurance and some thoughts on what I feel about these situations in my experience that I hope will comfort you no matter what has happened. Right, so first of all, what I want to say is I'm going to do another small group manifesting session, which is on the 12th of March. And I'm so excited about it because the last one that I did was the most beautiful thing that I've done, I think, in this whole YouTube journey. And everybody there got to share the manifestations. We manifested with each other, for each other, and the power of community, particularly when manifesting and healing, is enormous. So I would highly recommend, and I would love to see any of you there. And I'm going to do these, sporadically. So if you don't get to come to this one, maybe you can come to another one. But this one is going to be on the 12th of March. I'm so excited about it. And you can see the link below if you want to join. And there is a Facebook group that has been really beautiful as well for the other group, where people are sharing their manifestations, sharing things that they're going through, supporting each other. And it's just such a lovely community, and a small one where people get to know each other. So it's basically like having 10 manifestation buddies. So link below if you want to find out more and if you want to come to that. So many of my clients ask me, can I still make this work with my specific person, even though I said something that they didn't mean? There were bad words said to each other. There was arguments. There was a bad ending. Or you did something maybe that you regret, or you did something that you didn't mean, or you said something that you think was really, why did I say that? I'm so embarrassed. Why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. Or you overshared on something, and you overshared on your feelings, or something like that. Anything that you've said or done that you feel like you don't know why you did it and you wish you hadn't done it, and now it feels like it's over. There's just no going back from that. Okay, firstly, I've been there. I know the feeling, I know the one. And the answer is yes, of course, you can still manifest what you want, even though something happened that maybe wasn't in the direction that you wanted the relationship to go. And you know why? Because things change. I know that we talked about how circumstances don't matter and how that actually means things change. Things just change. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in the situation, even with Johnny from back in the day, where I've sat there and thought, oh my God, why did I say that? Why did I send? I had a habit of writing really long text messages where I was oversharing. So we'd have a conversation, maybe we'd have an argument, and then I would end up sending a really, really, really long message, like long. I can't fit it into the screen, it was that long. And then I'd read it the next day or a week later or something, and I'd think, oh my God, I didn't need to say all of that. I've just totally overshared. Or maybe he wouldn't reply or something. I'd pour my heart out and then he wouldn't reply. And the reason why I was doing that was because I was trying to control the situation. But the truth is that I was doing that. I was oversharing and telling him all of my feelings and trying to be really, really super clear and over-explaining everything, because I was wanting a reaction from him. I was wanting love from him. I was trying to get from him. And so it never worked. And then I felt deflated and I felt rejected and I felt embarrassed about all of that. And the thing was that I just wasn't trusting. I wasn't allowing. I wasn't trusting. I wasn't going into myself. I wasn't trying to find the validation that I needed from within. I was just seeking it from without. So often, a lot of people do this, and often I get clients say there was lots of bad words said, or they said nasty things, or they said horrible things that they didn't mean, or they said, fuck you, this is the end, bye, I never want to see you again, and I'm just going to find someone else, or I'm going to go on dates and I don't care about you. Those things happen often because we're still trying to get something from this person and they're not meeting our needs. And we get angry at people because they're not meeting our needs. And we have to remember the self-responsibility thing. So now that we're learning all of this and you're shifting into a new version of you, a new confident, secure version of you, first of all, honestly, you have to have compassion for the version of you that felt like you needed to get your needs met from someone else. Okay, so there are needs in relationships, and that's true. But when we're trying to get something from someone else and it's making us feel angry and frustrated, we have to go within and we have to understand how we're feeling. We have to find our own truth. So you're learning this now, which means that you're becoming the version of you that can be that person in a relationship, that can stand on your own, that can make decisions, that can self-soothe. I always struggle with this self-soothe. If I ever say that right in a video, then well done to me, but I haven't got there yet. Right, self-soothing. If you can do that, then you can show up in the relationship as someone who knows how to meet your own needs, how to get what you want, right? And you're not relying on the other person, and therefore it's a lot more harmonious and a lot more peaceful to be in that relationship. So you have to have compassion for the version of you that didn't know what you didn't know. You have to have compassion for that version of you because you're learning, you're growing, and you only know what you know. So the other thing that is comforting is that I always say is that, say I send a message that I really wish I hadn't sent, the first thing I'll say to myself was, oh, well, okay, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. I was meant to send that message. Don't know why, but it was meant to be. I was meant to do that. I wish I hadn't, but I did. And so it's fine. And it was meant to be. It was all part of my journey. Everything's unfolding for me exactly as it should. Right? So when you look at this thing that you did from that kind of awareness, it was meant to be. That was meant to happen for my highest good. I learned something from that. And I'm learning self-compassion. I'm learning self-love. I'm learning self-forgiveness. I'm learning to be okay with where I am now. Therefore, it's necessary that that message was sent, that that word was said, that that thing was said, in order for me to reflect on how I'm feeling, in order for me to grow, in order for me to be the version of me that I need to be for that relationship to flourish, for it to work, for that situation to unfold, for me to be the person that can make that situation work. Right? It was necessary. It was something that needed to happen. So whenever you say something or do something that you wish didn't happen, just think to yourself, it was meant to be. I will learn something from this. Something good will happen from this, and I will see that in time. It's not messed up, your manifestation. You know the amount of times that I did this, the amount of times where I thought, how are we going to get back from this? How are we going to get back from that conversation? How are we going to get back from that thing that unfolded that was awful? How are we going to get back from those words that were said and that thing that was done? How are we going to get back from that? But time passed, things changed, and then it's like you start the conversation from a clean slate. So, you know, you might have said some horrible things. You might have said some bad things. There might be just like, bye forever. And then weeks later, months later, maybe even a year or two later, there's a message. Something happens. Life is different then. You don't need to go over that thing. And if you do, you can go over it from a new perspective, from a new feeling state. You're not in that energy anymore. As time passes, you're able to pick up a new conversation because you let go of feelings and of situations and of words that were said as time goes on. So you have to trust time to pass and for it to do its magical thing of just kind of swifting along, letting things go. Even if you don't think you've let it go, time will help you to let it go. That's what happens. And so when you speak to this person again, you'll be able to speak to them from a different attitude, from a different feeling. There's less sort of pent up energy. You're in a different place, so the conversation is different. So there's a few clients of mine who have had situations where it felt like it was just a definite, that is definitely over. How am I going to come back from this? And what I always say to them is that was just then. That was that version of you. You're not that version of you anymore. And they say, yeah, but how will that person ever want to talk to me again? That was so embarrassing. How will this come around again? So many of my clients talk about this. Why would this person ever want to speak to me again? Honestly, this comes down to self-concept. This is that little voice within you saying, that's it. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be spoken to. I'm not enough. And looking for proof with this person, and this person has now become the focal point of that belief, looking for validation, looking for hope that you can be validated through someone else. And because the situation was so painful, it's even more important that this person in particular validates you. But let's remember that validation doesn't come from outside of you, it comes from you. So whenever you flip the script and you remember that I'm good enough, I care about myself, I care about how I felt in that moment and all the feelings that led me to say or do that thing that I said. I care about my needs that were not being met in that situation. I care about meeting my own needs now and being loved and valued and appreciated within myself. And when you find that validation within yourself, the situation moves. And as long as you're reliant on that person to speak to you again, as long as you're reliant on them to, talk to you, to see you, right? You've got to see you. As long as you're reliant on that person, it will be more difficult for them to speak to you, and you'll be grasping and hoping and wishing that they would come to you. But let's change that. Let's make it easier for them to come in by validating yourself, okay? The only reason why you're hooked on needing this person to speak to you after an event like this is because this traumatic event of saying something, an argument, a breakup, they're all very painful things. They're trauma. So we want that situation to be resolved, to be validated, for you to be seen, for your needs to be met. But let's do that. Let's just do that. You can see that. And whenever you look inside and you feel how you feel in your body, right? Feel how you feel in your body. How does it feel? Do you feel tight? Do you feel sadness? Where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it in your throat? Do you feel it in your jaw? Where do you feel it? Try and describe it. When you see it and you can actually see the experience of it happening in your body, you become more aware of that feeling and you can become more compassionate, and you can ask that part of yourself, what do you need? I'm here for you. I know that you want this situation to evolve. I know that you want this situation to unfold. So what can I do for you? I'm here for you. And whenever you become that soothing voice, that healing voice, because that's what this is, you're healing. You're growing from that person that you were that needed to get your needs met through someone else. And you're becoming that stable source of security from the inside. And as you do that, honestly, the world shifts. Your perception of the world shifts. Your perception of people shift. And as you do that, you create new conversations. People are drawn to you. So this is why it's so important to do the work from the inside. Honestly, just remember that things change, that you're exactly where you're meant to be, and whatever was said and done was meant to be for your highest good. It was all part of the journey, and you will look back at this and see why that is the case. Think about the future you who will be looking back at this present you now saying, this is where you're meant to be. You'll see in the future why you needed this lesson and who it's going to make you become in order for you to get what you want. So trust the process. Trust the process. I love that one. Just trust it. Trust where you are now. Everything's okay. Honestly, sometimes I've said and done things which I've literally thought, oh my God, I am literally Bridget Jones. Why did I say that? And if anything, can you laugh at it? Can you laugh at yourself? Can you make it a funny thing that it's just like, oh my God, my life, why did I say that? Also, actually, the other thing that I wanted to say is that sometimes we think we've said something wrong. I was speaking to a client today and she felt like, why did I say that? And actually what she said to this person was really appropriate because she was expressing her truth. But part of her didn't feel like she could express her truth. She felt like maybe she shouldn't have said what she wanted. She shouldn't have been as clear as she was. And I had to remind her, no, hang on a minute. It's okay for you to express your truth. It's okay for you to say how you feel. That's okay. People tell us, don't overshare. Don't say what you think. Don't, be too emotional. Hang on a minute, your emotions are valid. They want to be expressed, and they can certainly be expressed when it comes to knowing what you want in a relationship, being clear about it in order for you to get to the relationship that you want. Sometimes we have to do that. So, be aware that sometimes what you're saying is necessary. Sometimes what you're saying to someone and you think, oh, why did I say that? It's actually you expressing your truth. So have a think about what it is that you've said. Have a think about why you said it. Where did it come from? What need was not being met within you for you to say what you said, for you to react the way you did, for you to be triggered the way that you were? Whatever it was, what need was not being met? And then have compassion for that part of you. Okay, have compassion for that part of you. It's so important and very healing for you to say, oh yeah, of course I reacted like that. That was how I felt at the time. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how to react any differently. And if I'd known that I could see that need not being met, then I would have been able to have a different conversation with myself in order for me to have a different conversation with this person. So I hope that this makes sense, and I hope it's clear, and I hope that you've got something out of this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you would like any coaching with this, if you would like to talk to me personally about your experience, about your situation, and I can give you some light, I can be your mirror. I can help you to see what you may have been experiencing, because sometimes we can't see it because we're so close to our emotions, we're so close to our thoughts and our feelings that we can't see what they are that has made us say or do something. So if you would like some help with that, I'm really happy to help you. You can get the link to my coaching below. All the information is on my website. And if not, then I will see you in the next video. Bye.